Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we are strapping on our detective hats and heading straight underground. Look, if you're in the market for a new home, or even just thinking about it, you're probably already doing the standard stuff, right? Checking the roof, testing the electrical, looking at the foundation. But what about the things you literally cannot see? Well, today, consider us your underground private eye. We're going to give you the absolute ultimate guide to decoding the sewer scope. Get ready, because we are about to uncover exactly how to investigate the hidden arteries of your future home.
I want you to just imagine this scenario for a second. You've just closed on the absolute home of your dreams. The paint is fresh, the lawn is completely pristine, the staging was just perfect. You move in, run the washing machine for the first time, take a nice long shower, and then boom, disaster strikes. Massive, unseen plumbing failures hidden deep beneath that perfect lawn cause a catastrophic backup on literally day one. It is pretty much a homebuyer's worst nightmare. But hey, the good news, it's entirely preventable if you know what to look for.
And that prevention comes in the form of a sewer scope, or as it's sometimes called, a video pipe inspection. Now, this isn't just someone shining a flashlight down a drain, no way. We're talking about a highly specialized camera fed directly into the plumbing system. It's designed to reveal incredibly expensive issues that might be hiding right inside the walls, trapped under heavy concrete slabs, or buried way out near the property line. These are critical danger zones that your standard open trench checks and traditional inspections will completely miss.
To really put this into perspective, let's contrast the two. A standard home inspection. It's fantastic, but it's fundamentally surface level when it comes to plumbing. They might turn on the faucets, watch the water drain, and, well, that's kind of where their visibility ends. A video pipe inspection, on the other hand, gives you literal X-ray vision. It lets you see the true structural integrity of the pipes carrying waste away from the home. It's the difference between assuming everything is fine and actually knowing for absolute certain.
So here is our roadmap for today's explainer. 1. The hidden underground danger. 2. Defining the inspection scope. 3. 5 crucial pipe checks. 4. Demanding a clear report. And 5. The final purchase decision.
Let's dive right into Section 2, defining the inspection scope. The very first rule here is to confirm the system coverage. Before anyone starts analyzing a video feed, you gotta verify exactly what that camera is gonna cover. You want to ask your inspector to make sure the scope includes not just the main sewer line, the one running from the house all the way out to the city connection or property line, but also the accessible interior drains. That means getting the camera down into the lines connected to the kitchen, the laundry room, and the bathrooms.
But, we have to be prepared for the reality of plumbing. There are coverage limitations. Sometimes contractors simply cannot inspect every single section of a pipe. This could be because of where the cleanout access is located, strange structural restrictions, or even severe impenetrable blockages that are already in the line. It is absolutely crucial to understand this coverage area right up front so you don't jump to conclusions about sections of the pipe that simply weren't visible on the camera.
All right, moving to Section 3, 5 crucial pipe checks.
These are our 5 prime suspects, if you will. We'll be looking for active leaks, corrosion, cracks and roots, clogs, and finally, pipe geometry. Having this list is a real game changer. It empowers you as a buyer because it takes a confusing, murky video feed and turns it into a highly structured, easy-to-follow checklist. Let's break each of these down.
Our first check is all about active leaks and infiltration. When you're watching that footage, you're looking for wet spots along the pipe walls, water running where it definitely shouldn't be, or even groundwater actively seeping in through cracks and joints. This is a massive red flag. Chronic infiltration accelerates corrosion and drastically bumps up the risk of a backup. If the camera shows this kind of ongoing water flow, you immediately need to ask for a repair plan or find out if nearby surface grading and drainage adjustments are needed.
Check 2. Corrosion, scaling, and the overall material condition. This is especially huge in older homes that might still rely on cast iron, clay, or early plastic pipes. Pitting, flaking, or this heavy, crusty scaling on the pipe walls will be pretty obvious. And that scaling is dangerous because it physically narrows the flow path. It makes future clogs so much more likely, especially near bends or low spots where solid waste naturally wants to collect.
Next up, we search for cracks, root intrusion, and joint displacement. Look, nature is incredibly persistent. Tree roots will aggressively grow right into pipes, usually at older joints or where the line changes direction, just seeking out water. It literally looks like branching masses growing inside the dark pipe. You'll also want to look for cracks, which usually show up as long, straight separations right along the wall. Or joint displacement.
which is basically offset seams where two pipe sections just don't line up perfectly anymore.
Now, what's really interesting here is how the severity of those physical defects maps directly to your remediation options. Depending on the extent of the cracks or the roots we just talked about, the fix varies wildly. A minor root issue? That might just need a mechanical cleaning. A localized crack could be solved with a spot repair. But extensive joint displacement or massive root damage? That might mean full segment replacement, which, let me tell you, changes the financial math of your home purchase entirely.
For check 4, we must identify clogs and flow restrictions. You're looking for dense materials narrowing the pipe, hanging debris curtains, or just generally slow water movement during the scan. Keep in mind, some clogs are just temporary, like leftover debris, while others point to an actual structural failure. Here's a pro tip. If the inspector performed a cleaning jet before running the camera, you absolutely must check if the final footage still shows water restricting or reaccumulating at those same spots.
The final check is all about pipe geometry. This is fascinating because even a perfectly intact, uncracked pipe can be a total disaster if the geometry is wrong. The camera can reveal misalignment, sharp offsets, or sections with a low slope that just trap solids. This poor geometry makes the flow become turbulent, causing solids to settle right out of the water, and that leads to recurring stoppages and terrible sewage odors, typically near elbows or clean-out transitions. Okay, moving to Section 4, demanding a clear report.
Look, you cannot just accept a verbal, looks okay to me. You must demand specific, step-by-step items in a post-inspection report. First, require a clear map or run diagram of the system. Second, ensure the report includes exact footage timestamps for every single issue found on the video. Third, the report has to state the pipe material and diameter. And finally, you need written descriptions of the defects along with a professional assessment of their rough severity.
Once you have those details, take charge. Ask trenchless specialists or plumbers for very specific recommendations. Should this be a spot repair or does it need a full liner? Always request estimate ranges for the specific sections they identified. And remember, if they find severe defects way down near the main city line, you need to prioritize those recommendations urgently, rather than just relying on cheap, repeated cleanouts that really only delay the inevitable.
And that brings us to Section 5, the final purchase decision.
So the crucial point here is summarized perfectly by this rule of thumb. Treat the scope results as a bargaining and risk tool. The whole goal of this footage wasn't just to find problems and panic, right? It was to give you powerful leverage and absolute clarity on the true cost and safety of the home you are about to buy. How you actually use that leverage depends entirely on what you found. If the report shows light, localized issues, you can confidently negotiate those as a seller credit or a pre-closing repair item. However, if that footage revealed widespread damage, major water infiltration, or extensive root intrusion totally destroying the joints, well, you have the evidence you need to either aggressively renegotiate the terms of the sale or simply justify walking away entirely. If you're an active buyer comparing multiple properties, this data is absolute gold. When reviewing scopes from different houses, you must strategically weigh two things: the raw quantity of the issues found and their location. A few minor issues near an interior sink are vastly different from one massive structural collapse way down by the critical mainline connection. Location really dictates the repair cost. So what does this all mean? Context is everything. The quality of this whole process depends on good preparation, cleaning the lines beforehand, and ensuring the camera can actually reach the furthest points. When done correctly, this inspection footage transforms from just a scary video of a dirty pipe into a crystal clear, highly practical roadmap of exactly what you are buying and what you might need to fix soon.
Which leaves us with one final question for you to ponder. Knowing what you know now about the hidden dangers and the immense power of a video pipe inspection, will you look beneath the surface before signing on the dotted line? Prioritize this critical piece of real estate due diligence, and you can ensure your dream home doesn't secretly come with a hidden, underground disaster. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and hey, happy house hunting!